All right, guys. So we've got some more information on Warframe. It's a game that I used to play a lot. Supposedly, there's talk of raids again in Warframe, which would be absolutely amazing. Maybe looking at redoing their PvP because their PvP system is absolute booty cheeks right now. Some better stuff with the Stalker, some new plans, just a lot of new stuff coming up. And that's exciting. So let's jump in here. Let's listen to what they have to say. Let's check it out and let's give our thoughts and comments on it.
So yesterday, DigExtremes held a Reddit AMA where they answered as many community questions as they possibly could in relation to Warframe's.
And so what's going to be showing in the background is their new X-Pack, it looks like. This looks like some of the cutscenes from the newest expansion that's coming out.
Future and what to expect with Duviri and with Warframe in general for the next few years. This is some of those answers, but I will leave a full link to the Reddit in this video description because there is a lot of really great answers about the game's music and the sounds of Warframe, as well as developers' struggles along the way over the last 10 years. First up, they said Warframe's next story arc is already planned out over the next 5 years. So forget the idea that maybe Warframe is going to be sunsetted in favour of Soulframe, because apparently this new story has only just begun.
And that was a big fear for a lot of people, a lot of my friends that play Warframe. And a lot of my friends that are content creators over there, a lot of people were sort of excited to make the change over to Soulframe. Yeah, a lot of people were excited to make the switch over to Soulframe because they thought Warframe was pretty much dying. And they thought that they were going to discontinue content. So the fact that Warframe has at least 5 years worth of new content roadmapped out is really good for Warframe and for the community, because Warframe has a really great community. They have a great sort of group of content creators. And just the people that play the game, the people that hang out, the people that hang out on Reddit, the people that watch streams and watch YouTube videos, Warframe's always had just a banger community.
TennoCon this year could be great fun for reveals. Now, they also currently know what the next 5 new Warframes will be. They have it planned out, but you can forget about any community-created Warframes being made anytime soon, as they are not any of those 5. Now, cross-save is something that all of you have been asking for, but
You've never played Warframe? I will tell you right now, if you have never played Warframe, Warframe has a learning curve. Warframe is very, very fast-paced for a shooter. Very fast-paced.
Is still being worked on internally, and they plan on releasing it in small waves like they did with crossplay, so that nothing messes up. Cross-save clans is the next step, and then they're going to settle on how friends will be handled, and then they still have to figure out cross-save trading and so on.
Because cross-save kind of made me mad. So when I finally did go back and play Warframe a second time, I couldn't get my file off of my PlayStation to my Steam account. So I actually had to start all over. And if you don't know, Warframe is a game where you can spend money. You can buy frames. It's pseudo pay-to-win. It's not entirely pay-to-win, but there are sort of pay-to-win aspects to the PvE side of it. And I had an account that I had spent money on years ago that I'd lost access to, and I wasn't able to cross-save over because I missed the initial batch of sort of cross-saves.
VoIP for crossplay is also being worked on, so everything is pretty much still soon TM, right? Now, they were asked about raids and if raids or trials have a chance of returning. Pablo said it's hard for them to say if they'll revive trials with their plans being so full for this year, but it is unlikely that they're going to be returning. So basically, they've already planned out the year, so forget about raids just for now.
And that sucks, because I think that raids would be a fun sort of aspect in Warframe. Now, is it something that would fit in with Warframe? I don't know, but raids are definitely something that people like in games like Destiny 2 and The Division, and things like that, where it's just, or even like MMOs in general, because it's sort of a way to get good gear, test yourself, add challenging content. I know at one point in time, I think Warframe had raids, and then they ended up taking them out, but I'm not entirely for sure on that. I feel like they did, though.
In relation to PvP in Warframe Conclave, they've said that it has been put on hold. If they can't make it fun, then they'd rather not do it at all, which makes sense, but hear me out.
Okay, so all the things I was excited about in the title so far have all been scrapped. Raids, not happening. PvP, they don't give a shit. This is not turning out very good.
No PvP or different characters from the Warframe universe in PvP could have been fun, using Khal, Viso, Maru, Clem, Ballas, you get the idea. A hero-based environment might have been a bit of fun for the community, but I understand if their hands are full over the next 5 years, then it's not something you want to waste time on. Rebecca has teased that we will see more of Stalker this year, with possibly something being revealed at TennoCon later in the year, but not Stalker PvP, so maybe expanding on the Stalker's story. We know that we're going to get the chance to choose him in Duviri as a playable Warframe, so maybe he shows up in the quest, which is going to be the catalyst for expanding on his story,
And that would make sense. If the Stalker's going to show up in the story for Duviri and then you're going to get him as a frame, I would say that it's going to expand the way he interacts. And maybe after you get him as a frame, he stops showing up to attack you. I don't know.
I really hope. I would really love more in-depth Stalker lore, but we're going to have to wait for TennoCon to see exactly what this reveal will be. Arcwing content is in a weird spot right now, and they don't want to add more to it without knowing exactly what they want to do with Arcwing, so
a lot of people don't like Arcwing. Arcwing content is definitely not something that most Warframe players enjoy, just because they didn't really do enough with it to flesh it out, so it doesn't feel that fun. So I can see that. One of the things that Warframe did, right, is they just made a lot of stuff and threw it all at the wall and just tried to figure out what stuck. And I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing. It does waste some development time and does put some sort of bad things in the game. But that's the only way you're going to figure out if your players truly like something.
I'm only joking. Adding new primed mods is something that's been put on hold. They want to be more critical about what they add into the game as well, so no new primed mods will be added anytime soon. When asked about Warframe's balance between power fantasy and challenging content, Pablo said that they're staying true to the power fantasy. That's what the game is about. That our power creep right now makes it almost impossible to add challenging content to Warframe, and players enjoy feeling godlike.
And that's true. And that was what we were just talking about before. Warframe definitely has embraced the power fantasy. And once you get to a certain point, you can pretty much just evaporate anything. That's why I kind of wanted to see raid content, because it could give you harder content that you just couldn't walk right through. But it definitely sounds like at this point in time, they're not planning on pulling back any of the power fantasy, and they're not going to... There's not really an easy way for them to add in anything that's super challenging.
When asked about expanding on stories like that of Orden Karras, the Beast of Bones, it was a simple no. But they won't rule it out for further down the line in the future update, if it's something that appeals to the community. When asked about bringing Fortuna's grind into line with the likes of Deimos and the Zaraman, Pablo simply said that they are keeping an eye out constantly for where the grind is too big, and they will adjust accordingly.
That grind sucks. By the way, the Fortuna's grind or whatever, that grind sucks. I don't even think I got it done on my character.
Now, don't expect Scarlet Spear to return anytime soon, as resources are best put elsewhere. They have big plans for some big Necromech content that they're not ready to talk about yet. Interesting as well, Necromech Conclave, maybe, or Flappy Bird, who knows? Saren is a Warframe that has...
Necromechs, because of what they did with... So what they did with Railjacks and how much you use Necromechs over there, and then how you're able to bring them into other content, I can see them continuing to do more with Necromechs as sort of just a change to the power fantasy. My coworker I'm guest starring with has new and interesting energy drinks for you to try. What kind? Old Timers Syndrome? No, just playing too many games syndrome. When you play too many games, eventually you start to forget what everything's called.
Has given them more problems over the years than any other Warframe, even after 17 reworks, Pablo said, so maybe don't expect an 18th rework. Teshin's...
Saren's always been a strong frame, though, because you either nerf her into the ground and make her unusable, or there's nothing you can do about it. She's just strong.
Sun and Moon Swords are a reward blueprint that can be used by your Warframe as well, with a new stance to match it with the Duviri update. Expect a companion update or rework for their fall update later this year, or some more news on it at least later in the year. They have plans for Narmer and Orb Valis, but nothing for this year. They've mentioned something already has been added to Orb Valis as a bit of a hint, which most people are saying is the Narmer drone that is watching the third Orb Mother flying around it. So maybe in a year...
something called Being Black. I've never heard of those. I'd have to look them up.
When they expand on it, it can come out of that jacuzzi like a big metal prune shriveled after being in the bath for too long. Duviri could basically be its very own game, and that creating new ideas and concepts like Duviri is what keeps the developers going and the game fresh for them as well. Ureli Deluxe is in the works. Gauss Deluxe will be shown off later in the next dev stream on the 28th of this month. And like I said, there is a lot more answers over on the Reddit, which I have linked in this video's description. Let me know what you think of some of these answers. Have a great day.
Well, that's sad though. Like the stuff in the title that I actually was like excited for isn't going to show up, which as sort of a lapsed Warframe player kind of sucks. I mean, the new zone and stuff is going to be fun, right? And the new grind and all the new stuff to collect. I was excited for raids, no raids. I was excited for new PvP stuff, no PvP stuff. The more Stalker is probably going to be more like removal of the Stalker after you get the frame. But I'm glad to see that they do have the next 5 years planned. They've got new frames. They're going to be original designs, and they're not going to be community sort of ideas. They're working on getting the cross saves and stuff. So there's definitely a lot of good stuff here. Warframe's team is always on the grind working on awesome stuff. Never know, maybe we'll get a chance to get back into it. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you guys play Warframe, what you're looking forward to, what you guys like and don't like about the game. And as always, have a great day.